Next topic we're talking about, obviously, is Lampard and the credit. Did he get what he deserved?
I think he has from the Chelsea sort of contingent. I think we're all pretty. Well, I think everyone's singing. Well, apart from the idiots on Twitter.
We love Twitter.
I think also from the pundits. I don't know so much how the press have treated him. It's been very hit and miss. You know, some days they're out for his blood. Some days he's, as to quote you, he's the best thing since sliced bread. But week in, week out, irrespective of which channel you're watching, be it BBC Sports or Sky Football, whatever, even BT Sport, the pundits are always incredibly acknowledging of how well he's done, and they always leave him glowing reviews. Even Roy Keane, who's the hardest man to please on the pundit team, says Frank's done a fantastic job. You know, he's.
Do you think that's because he was a pundit previously?
Frank
he's got a bit more like credit with them.
No, I don't think that's anything to do with it. I think
they don't give Gary Neville any slack to them.
Right. No, I think he's a young manager who. If we're looking at the card Chelsea dealt themselves, really, yeah, he's an icon on the pitch, but they weren't exactly investing or putting their trust in a sure product. You said this last week.
That, yeah,
Derby finished in exactly the same position with him and without him.
But he did get into a playoff final. Again, I'm just playing devil's advocate because I think we.
No, you know what? I think at the start of the season, no one had Chelsea in the top four apart from Ruud Gullit of all the pundits. And at the end, I think that once they've seen his performance and how he's done, I think they are giving him the respect he deserves.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think.
I mean, he's not been perfect.
No, 100%.
No,
I think
our defense is an issue.
And to go off of what you were saying at the top of the show, you know, the 4-0 jobbing from United, those errors are still there. A whole season on. That's my one cause of concern. And it's surprising because Frank has worked under some defensive masterminds, like Joe say. I know Carlo Ancelotti is definitely more attack than defense-minded, but he's got very, very good defensive pedigree, does Carlo Ancelotti. I'm really surprised that from all the managers that Frank's worked under, some of who, as I've said, are very, very astute defensively, he's not applying that. Maybe he's very much trying to do his own thing, but
you look at the managers who's worked under, and I don't think their philosophy is applicable to today's game. You know, you look at Jose, and he seems like a bit of a dinosaur sometimes, and he's
Let's go with something a bit more concise then. What about Steve Holland, who is noted for being brilliant on set pieces, both attacking and defensive? Frank played, under him, and
we've been appalling with.
We have been awful,
especially
especially at corners, and that surprises me.
Statistically, I think we conceded the most goals from corners in the league.
We did.
So saying that, I think definitely, look, as much as Frank Lampard deserves to be lauded for what he's done,
yes,
I think that there is a lot to work on. We've spoken about the defence. You look at that Liverpool team. Basically, let's talk pre-Van Dijk. This is people are going to be like, oh, everyone always says this. I see similarity.
I do. I know exactly what you're saying. We touched on it when we did the dry run before, but I don't think it's just Van Dijk with Liverpool. It's also
the coaches.
No, Alisson.
It's also Alisson. Yeah, exactly.
He's also Alisson, but
you've got a keeper between the sticks who inspires confidence. Kappa does not fill me with confidence.
Or the 3 or 4 in front of him.
I think the three. What we need for me, and I'm going to put it again out there. Again, we said it in the dry run, but we've got to have a same reaction. Okay, so nobody knows. Really, it's a great idea. I think Thiago Silva potentially for a year. I know he goes against everything in Chelsea's policy currently, wages, age, everything. But I feel because there is such a lack of pedigree on the market right now that Thiago Silva could potentially be the man for 1 year. Just to shore up that defence. He's played 22 games already this season, been a mainstay in that PSG team. Mm-hmm. You have a Fikayo Tomori who's probably going to go out on loan. Kurt Zouma, best defender for us this year, still has a mistake in him. I think he's been our best, most consistent centre.
I'd say he's been our worst.
I disagree. I'd say he's been...
Zuma since day one has been abysmal.
I mean,
his
no
reactions
are
slow. His positioning's terrible.
There's some great last-minute tackles that he's made.
Oh mate, take a horse to water and all that. Eventually they'll drink. But
well,
I think he's been an absolute donkey. That's. I mean, we all watch and interpret the game in a different way. Things that happen on the pitch resonate with all of us differently. There is a world that exists beyond pure stats. I appreciate that, but I'm not saying who's right and who's wrong here. But every time I've watched Zuma play, and I've messaged you repeatedly throughout the season, every time he's fucked up. I mean, like, Zuma again.
Sat behind me at Chelsea, just hear him fucking going for Zuma. For fuck's sake! It's like, right, Nico, come on. I mean, look, if you look at the other options we had. Fikayo Tomori and Zuma.
Rate Tomori.
Consistent. Tomori's been great, but obviously, clearly he's not fitting in Frank's plans at the minute.
Well, I don't know. Like at the start of the season, there was a bit of a partnership developing there, but then, but it's just, that's the story of the whole season. There's just been no consistency and no confidence in that defense.
Rudiger is doing everything he can to be nominated the most disappointing player of the season,
and yeah,
because whereby I thought we had a unit,
it's the injury. As soon as you said that injury,
it's not just that. Look at how he is on the ball. He looks really. Maybe it's just his technique and how he generally plays the game. But when I see him controlling the ball, trapping the ball, passing the ball, he looks really uncomfortable and slow. That's not injury. That's just ability/technique. It's just an impression I've got. Rudiger doesn't look up to the pace of the Premier League.
Liverpool want to buy him.
Take him. Give us Van Dijk.
I think it's this thing. Personally, I think Zuma's been our best out of what people can say is a bad bunch. I feel he's not been outstanding, but he's been, again, the most consistent.
A decent Premier
level.
League centre half.
Exactly.